And welcome back to Live in the Hall at the GMA Annual Convention. We are in the exhibit hall here at the Trade Center in Savannah. And with me is John Bennett, who is the chairman of the Georgia, if I can get all the letters right, the Risk Management and Employment Benefit Services, RMEBS, as we call it in the building.
That's correct.
But some people don't always know what all those letters stand for. Tomorrow is the Board of Trustees meeting for all of y'all, and you're going to be giving kind of an annual report covering what's happened, and as you told me earlier, you guys kind of look at it in 5-year increments as opposed to kind of annual things. What are some of the highlights?
Well, we have had a pretty good year this year, but if you look over the last 5 years, we have a number of people in the workers' comp plan. We have over 400 in the workers' comp program, almost 300 in the liability and property insurance. And we've tried to look at it in two ways. One is our investments. We do have a significant amount of funds that we are responsible for keeping invested. And we've been very cautious about how we do that and expanded some of the ways we've invested our money to try to make sure we get the best return we can. But we've also tried to work with what I would call our customers, member cities, that at renewal time, and I guess the biggest renewal that we've been able to do, biggest thing we've been able to do is on the property side. We've given over $22 million in dividends at the renewal time. That tends to lower people's premiums. So it's been able to keep our premiums pretty level.
And that's been key, I know, because with the economic downturn, a lot of cities, the budgets are really tight, and I think, how has the board been responsive to that?
Well, on the health, moving on to the health side, we've actually subsidized rates some with fund balance to try to keep the rates down. We've also have a very active program where we give grants to various
and that has been
cities
really, really popular.
That helps them try to keep their premiums down, both on the workers' comp side. We do a lot of safety grants that help us educate our employees.
And just so I guess the layman would know, the retirement, that's where we're talking a lot about the assets and the retirement, and I guess the assets are how well funded.
Well, on the retirement side, we do have a combination of all of our funds that we invest, but each city stands alone in their retirement plan. And most of them are in the 70 to 90% funding status, which is pretty good.
That is good. And I know there's been a lot of talk about that in the media in general over the last several years, I think, as the accounting rules have changed and people become more aware of the accounting, or I guess the unfunded.
The unfunded portion of pension plans is getting a lot of attention around the United States. And a lot of that is in states and in municipalities in areas where the pension plans are much more lucrative than what we have. 2 or 3 things as an example is your retirement age. Some have it where you can retire after 20 or 25 years of service. That means somebody starts at 20, retires at 45, lives to be 90. You got to fund that. For most of our pension plans, the earliest you can retire is 60. Most of them are 65. Also, the formula that's used to calculate hours are pretty low formulas. And also cost of living. Some of them have very lucrative cost of livings. About half of our plans don't even have a cost of living built in. So those 3 factors.
And I understand too that the cities when they create their retirement plan, they can create one that works for them.
They can
fits their situation.
And some of them have been created. Some have made changes in the last 5 years because they found that as times got hard, that maybe their plan was a little too rich. And rather than just eliminating the plan, they've made changes, either most of them for new hires, and left it as it would be, as it was for the existing employees. But some have seen fit to change it even for existing employees. Another thing is City of Atlanta, as an example. They're not in our plan, but what they did was they started making the employee pay a pretty good portion of the premium without changing the plan. That's another way to go at it.
So there's a lot of options out there.
Oh yeah, a lot of options.
And I think one of the things that impresses me that I like is that the Board of Trustees is city officials who are, it's not just some company out there who doesn't understand city government, you guys understand what cities are facing and who the employees are when you're creating, these programs.
Well, that's a good point. And on all of the insurance claims, and I might be wrong on the number, but like any amount that's over $25,000, the executive committee has to meet and approve that.
Right.
So anyone that has a claim, and you just don't have some lawyer out there to sign, well, we need to settle that for X amount of dollars. And we give a lot of thought to that, especially the higher the amount gets. We do settle a lot of claims. We try our best not to go to court because that gets expensive for everybody. Right. But I think that's true. I have my own experience in the city I'm in that we're very pleased with the process.
Well, and I think you mentioned the wellness grants. Yes. That is getting to be, I think, a big thing for all employers, and particularly in cities as well, is keeping employees healthy. So when it comes to insurance and workers' comp, you don't have, and the risk management side of it too, you don't have as many claims. And with those wellness grants, was it just last year, they went from being a matching grant to a full-on, here's the money, go do well.
The best way to keep premiums down is to reduce the claims. Any insurance company will tell you that. And the way to do that is to educate your workforce and those who are in decision-making positions that there are things you can do to reduce your claims. And so we've tried very hard to educate not only our board people, but also every member that participates in our program.
Well, and it sounds like you're going to be able to give a really good report tomorrow to the Board of Trustees, because from what I've seen, everything is looking good and going up.
Well, I would say
all the things that should be going up are. It's a little bit. All the things that shouldn't are not.
It's a little bit better than last year in that our investments have performed a little bit better this year than at this time last year.
That's great. Well, that's hopefully a good sign for the economy as well.
It is.
We can hope that shows good things to come for everybody.
I agree.
Well, we appreciate it very much and look forward to hearing your report.
Okay, thank you.
And Aileen, what's going on out on the floor?